I have Joey Gomez on the show now, who we have not seen fight for a very long time, back in action at CES 66 on March the 4th. Joey, how does that sound?
It's kind of surreal, man. It still gives you butterflies every time you hop back in there, no matter how many times you've done it. So I'm excited to get back in there and to show everybody what we've been working on. So excited.
Yeah, man. And I was telling you before we went live here that the last time I spoke to you, I was doing the Main Event podcast, which is when I first started covering the sport back in 2016. And that was actually your last fight in the UFC, September of 2016. And then you walked away. So I just want to start there. What was the reasoning behind, you walking away and not staying in active competition?
Well, I had made a promise to the wife that if I didn't get signed to the UFC by the time I was 30, that I was going to taper back off and pursue a career and finally give my family the life that I knew they deserved and wanted to provide. But I was very, very focused on achieving my goals, and I got signed to the UFC when I was 29 and a half. So I was kind of tapering off from training and just trying to keep the dream alive. And then I got signed. Things didn't go my way, which is okay. Given the circumstances, I'm one of less than 1% that can say they did that, that they competed in the UFC. So with that being said, I've said it in countless interviews and in podcasts and everything else you can think of. When I set out and made my goals for this sport, I wanted to do three things. And it was, had to have 10 professional fights, to fight on national television once, and to win a belt at whatever capacity that I could. And I've achieved 2 of the 3. So I've only got 10 more, or I've got 2 more fights to go before I get to 10 professional fights. And I would have achieved everything that I set out to in the sport of MMA and then some. So I think I would feel more comfortable walking away then. However, the reason I stopped, it was just like I said, man, I needed to get right with my family. We had grinded for so many years, and it's a struggle. People don't understand how much you have to sacrifice. And as much as I don't even think that I hate it. And Conor McGregor said it best, it's a game of obsession. Whoever's obsessed more, whoever is willing to go where others aren't willing to go or do what others aren't willing to do, those are the guys that are successful.
So you mentioned wanting to hit those 10 pro fights, and you're 2 away now, but does the thought of, climbing back to the top promotion in the world cross your mind at all? Because you've already made that climb once. If you win a couple regional fights, you never really know what could happen. The UFC are bringing in fighters on short notice all the time. Is that crossing your mind at all?
Honestly, I'm just trying to get ready for Vladimir, or Vlad, or whatever he goes by. Of course it crosses my mind. That would be super sick. It would be something that's never been done, I don't think, in the Northeast, at least. So I would cement my legacy there in New England MMA if I were to, be one of the first guys to get signed, and then to take 5 years off from the sport and get signed 5 years back. But CES is a promotion to do it with. If I were to make that run, and I would be lying to you if I said I didn't have my own delusions of grandeur of me and where fighting is going. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exciting, man. It all starts March 4th. Now, you were supposed to fight actually for Ammo, Bill Vigil's last card, and I don't even know when that was. That was 4 months ago now. Why did that fight get canceled?
My opponent pulled out for medical reasons. I didn't really pry too much. I didn't care. I was just more annoyed that I didn't get to fight, which is probably better because I've been, steadily getting ready. I haven't stopped training since then, and I'm just rolling right into another fight camp. My weight's really good. I'm in better shape now at 35 years old than I was at 28 or 29, and I'm healthier. All the little old injuries have all healed up. So, yeah. Going back to the question, he pulled out for medical concerns, and I wasn't really interested in, trying to find a replacement opponent 2-3 weeks out. I was just like, you know what, let's wrap it up.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Same weight class, moving forward. You talked about being in better shape now at 35 versus 28. Are you walking around about the same weight range as you were before?
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit lighter. I'm waking up around like 152 right now, which is kind of right where I want to stay. And I'm like 7 weeks out from the fight. So my coaching staff is like, yo, you need to eat. And I'm like, I don't want, dude, the weight doesn't come off as easy as it did when I was, 28. So I keep referencing 28, but I guess maybe that's the magic number.
So, obviously the sport of MMA has just continued to evolve. I mean, more and more athletes are getting into it each year that passes, and the UFC has just taken right off. They just have a chokehold on what it seems like the overall MMA market. Have you noticed a big jump just in fighter skill sets and guys that you train with on a daily basis? Has the sport evolved from a talent level?
Absolutely. You know, I got to, I came into the sport in like the late 2000s, like around 2008. And it's changed so much. The guys that are competing, like the amateurs competing now would smoke most of the pros back in 2008. It's just, you have to evolve. But and I wouldn't necessarily call myself a pioneer of the sport, but I've definitely been a part of that era where it went from being like a meathead wanting to fight people to being a legit professional athlete, where these guys have nutritionists and the meal prepping and strength and conditioning. Just the way that we get ready for fights now is smarter. We're training smarter. We used to spar ourselves into shape. We didn't put on heart rate monitors to see what our cardiovascular systems are doing, or do our lactic work to see, to fill those muscles up with as much lactic acid as we can to push through it. Like, we weren't tracking the data, but now we are. So when you start talking about evolution of the sport, just the way that we're training and the level of athleticism that's on display at the highest, even at the regional scene. I mean, the guys in CES it's crazy what they're doing.
Are you taking a little bit more time now that you're older to spend recovery a little bit more smartly? Like, is that something that you're focusing on as each year passes?
Yeah, absolutely. Recovery is a lot better. We have a couple massage therapists on retainer. I'm working with a chiropractor, Dr. Paul. Shout out to Dr. Paul. He, stretches my muscles out and makes sure that I'm ready to go and gets me adjusted and lined up. I've got, strength and conditioning coaches. I've got a whole little staff that makes sure that I'm doing the right things at the right times. And, it's crazy.
So tell me about the gym. We were talking a little bit before, and you guys had moved. You're in the same building, but you just went up a floor. So tell me a little bit about how that is all looking, and what your day to day is normally like in fight camp.
Well, Walter and I combined forces and started a gym. It's called Karatsu Tango Academy, and it's 1 Chestnut Street, Nashville, New Hampshire. And we were on the 4th floor, and our first spot was only 1,300 square feet. And we grew so quickly because, we have a legit product to offer people. And I think that's largely been missing from Southern New Hampshire, Northern Mass area. And we just kind of decided to change the game a little bit. And we opened our spot up. It grew exponentially. Quicker than we were anticipating. And we just, on the first of the year, we just moved into our new spot, which is like 5,700 square feet, 1 floor above our old gym. So we don't have to change locations. We just have to take everything from the gym and bring it upstairs, but it's amazing. We've got a strength and conditioning side. We've got a 16-foot cage. We've got, I think it's 40 feet, a 40-foot long by 12-foot wide area for just MMA and wall work and jiu-jitsu. And then we have another section of the area that we have where we hold all of our privates. And then, a free weights, cable machines, ropes, bikes, sleds, you name it.
How has COVID affected your ability to stay as busy as you normally do? And are you having to jump through any extra hoops to stay in regulations? I'm not sure what it's like down in New Hampshire right now.
We have to abide by all the guidelines that are being put forth through the state. We've had people come by and inspect, and it's just, it is what it is. It was challenging at first, because people were obviously very concerned for their well-being, not with the with COVID-19 being so new, but the people that are showing up to the gyms are the people that are there for a reason. Like, they have something driving them, and I think that's kind of our niche. You know what I mean? We focus on that above average, not your average Joe type of, gym fanatic, for lack of better terms.
All right.
And I mean, people are definitely worried about it. And like, if you're sick, we ask, hey, if you're sick, don't come to the gym. It's that simple. So we've been lucky. We haven't had to contend with that very much.
That's fantastic. Well, hopefully you don't have to. Hopefully we're going to be behind or in front of all of this soon, and it'll be behind us, because I think I could speak for everyone out there that I'm over it. I'm ready to get back to life
Sure.
as normal, but before. Now, I do want to ask you real quick. I want to get a couple of fight picks from you, because I'm sure you're going to be watching the UFC fights this Saturday, UFC 270. Who do you see winning the heavyweight title and the flyweight title? Ngannou versus Gan, and Moreno versus Figueiredo.
I'm rooting for Moreno for sure. I just feel like the guy's persevered through so much, and he beat him decisively his last fight. So if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ convincingly. So I think it would be good to run it back on that one. I'm excited for that. Talk about athleticism and high output. Those two guys that's the flyweight division's insane. And to be honest, I haven't really followed the heavyweight fight too much. I kind of fell off the wagon when it came to like watching all the fights every weekend. Zagano's a beast. I don't know much about this other guy other than they used to train together. And yeah, but if you look like from a statistical standpoint, look what happened when Overeem fought Tyrone Spong. He kind of big brothered him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's been the case in a few fights. Yeah. I can't remember another one off the top of my head.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, both of the guys are very, very powerful, and Ngannou has, I think, the strength advantage, and Gan has more of the speed, the footwork. So we'll see what happens. But either way, it's a pay-per-view that I cannot miss.
It's going to be a good scrap. I think we're going to get it here at the gym.
Nice, good man. That's I might get together with a couple of friends. We'll see what happens. Well, listen, we're still a little ways out from March 4th, CES 66. What is going to be your plan of action here moving forward over the next month and a half or so? What do you have left to fine tune and do before fight night?
Like I said, I've been in camp since the last, getting ready for ammo. So I've just been kind of maintaining my weight, working really diligently on my strength and conditioning, making sure that I have the lung capacity to go out there and perform. And then, working my wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and takedown defense, working my striking, doing a little bit of judo. So I'm just training and enjoying it. And that's the best part about it. Like, coming back from like a 5-year, 6-year layoff is like, I get to enjoy it. I fell back in love with it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure competing at that level. There's a lot of pressure competing at this level as well, but I'm not relying on it to feed my family right now.
Obviously you're going to have Walter on the mats on a daily basis, getting that working with, but who are your other main training partners that you're sparring and really getting that work in with?
We cross train a bunch. I cross train with Team Link a lot. So JC Alley, he's a good training partner of ours. Ross Levine's coming up. He's a Glory kickboxer. I think he got knockout of the year or 2020. Nasty kickboxer. Dude kicks like a mule. Obviously Walter Catito. Aaron Hughes is going to be coming up and doing some cross training tonight. Rainbow Joe out of Leominster, out of Zakeli's Fitness, is coming up to give me rounds. So like we're all kind of coming together in the area and helping each other, which is something else that I wanted to change in New Hampshire. you know, cross training. Not, you don't see a lot of cross training. Some guys like it, some guys don't like it. Hey, we're a gym that if you show up on Wednesday nights and you sign the waiver, you can come and spar with us and we'll figure it out.
All right, I love it. And as we were talking about earlier, a lot more people are getting into the sport. So I'm sure you're just going to have more and more great athletes coming in through the doors. Now, CES is going to be in front of a lot of people on Fight Pass. People will be tuning in if they're not there at the venue. Who do you plan to have in your corner come fight night?
I know it's going to be Walter for sure, and I haven't really given too much other thought about it just yet. It'll probably be Mike Kelly and Ross if it's 3. So, but I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still trying to toss it all around.
All right, and your opponent, he's 6-4, Vlad Kezbekov. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad, but I was looking at his record, you know, and he's lost to some pretty legit guys. I mean, Tony Gravely, Jacob Bond, those are good names. So, you know, when you look at him, he's a well-rounded guy. He's been in there with some good competition. What kind of a fight are you expecting come fight night?
I'm expecting a dogfight, man. I'm expecting him to get in there and to mix it up well. He moves well. He's explosive. Good takedowns. Yeah, good jiu-jitsu defense. I think it's going to be an all-around MMA fight, which I'm excited for. You know, I'm preparing for an MMA fight, and you know, I think people are going to be surprised and see, you know, a lot of, I don't want to say improvements. They're just, I'm going to try things that I don't normally try.
Are you going to be disappointed if you don't get a finish?
No, at this point, it's not even a matter about being disappointed not getting a finish. I'm always looking for the finish. You know, if I get, it goes to a decision, it would be because the person was worthy. You know what I mean? So I just want a good performance. That's what I'm focusing on.
All right. And so moving forward, this would be your 9th pro MMA fight. You said you wanted to get 10. Are you going to be competing after that? Can we expect to see you multiple times in 2022? And will it only be for CES, or are you going to fight for AMO or maybe another promotion here regionally?
I'm going to keep my options open. I've got strong ties with CES, and I would love to fight for them again, as long as everything makes sense. You know, I don't have a problem. CES has been nothing but good to me, and I mean, I couldn't think of a better promotion to end my career with. You know, just everything that they've done for the Northeast by putting MMA on the map is just, when you start talking about cementing your legacy, CES is it. So yeah, man, I don't know. And as far as fighting again, I'm just taking it easy. You know, they say the best way to know if you want to come out of retirement is to do one more and see what's up. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking it kind of day by day. I'm enjoying the process. I'm staying positive. And, but yeah, I mean, fighting for that belt would obviously be ideal. Jay Perrin's got it. We've got some history there. It would be a good fight. We'll see what happens though. But I can't overlook Vlad. First and foremost, I got to focus on him.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to have another conversation after this fight, see where your head's at. And maybe we will be talking about a title fight before 2022 is over. But it all starts March 4th, CES 66. Joey Gomez back in action against Vlad Kezbekov. Great talking to you again, man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. If you want to plug your gym, please do so. And if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to obviously give a huge shout out to all my training partners over at KTA. You can find us at KTA Nashua on Instagram. You can also follow me at Gomez the First on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook at Joey Gomez. I want to give a huge shout out to Ben Centers, as well out to Ballad Mac. Those guys have been hooking it up and taking care of us, and everybody else that's helped me along the way. You know what I mean? If I didn't get to you, it's not because I'm not thinking about you. It's just a little bit of pressure.